Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, September 19th, 2024. Just got back from Boulder. I was out there on a trip with Salomon. Had a very quick trip, but it was a lot of fun. We can talk all about that today. Also got some new shoes that I got to put onto the spreadsheet. Some fun new shoes from Brooks. I actually ended up getting 2 pairs of these shoes. So I ran in a pair this morning, but this is a fresh pair, and we will weigh this pair and add it to our shoe weights sheet later on. But first, let's say hi to everyone else listening on the audio-only version on the podcast. Hope you guys are having a good run out there today. It was nice when I was in Boulder. Temps were nice and chilly on a lot of the runs, or at least they weren't hot, even though it was at altitude. And then when I came back to Chicago, it was real hot. It was very hot today. So wherever you're running, if you're listening to this, hopefully the temperature is really nice. For everyone else watching this later but not live, this is the #1 running live stream to listen to while you're getting ready and packing, thinking about your upcoming race in Berlin. So hope the packing is going well. I know you could see, I think we could see the weather forecast now. So for those of you who like to pack early, hopefully it's going well. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Are we back? Are we here? I think we're here. Okay, guys, we will start over. What's going on, everybody? It's 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake. Time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, September 19th, 2024. It's been, it's been crazy with the travel this summer. So I messed up the audio today. Sorry about that. The audio is now fine. Got back from Boulder. Had a quick trip out there with Salomon for basically a full day, kind of a day and a half, but I was out there for kind of 3 days. And the weather was nice. So for everyone listening to this on the audio only version, hopefully you had weather like that, where it was like, if you went in the morning, it was chilly. You could have maybe even wore a long sleeve or some light gloves, super, super thin ones, if you're like me and like super thin gloves. And that's the kind of weather that I wish for you, because back here in Crystal Lake, it was hot on my run today. So wherever you are, hopefully you're getting a good run. And for everyone else watching this later but not live, this is the #1 running live stream to listen to while you are checking on the weather for Berlin and starting to get packed up, because that race is coming up soon. All right. Brain Squish said, did I spy a Brooks box? Yes, I was trying to explain before that. We'll take a look at this new shoe from Brooks today. I already did take a run in it because, I don't know, I'll explain why. I ended up getting 2 pairs of this shoe. I wanted to run in it today, but I have a fresh pair, an unrun-in pair that we can weigh for shoe weights. And now, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have weighed them both to see for 2 shoes, same colorway, same size, if there was any difference. But too late on that one. All right. Mark Meyer says, the speakers are blowing like a Memorex ad. Is it too loud now? You guys will have to let me know. All right. And Jared Kano says, good luck all hoping for a Tokyo lottery bib. The announcement emails go out overnight tonight. That'll be another fun day to see how people respond to their rejections. Hopefully it's not an animated rejection or not a fun rejection. And the other thing we're going to do today, probably get started on this. Let's start with this first. We didn't get a chance to try this. I smelled it last time. I almost dry scooped it last time, but today we're going to try the new scratch flavor apple cider. It's limited edition. I feel like the thing about this, we're getting dangerously close to the idea of like, can I just run with apple juice? But let's try this. All right. We'll do 1 full scoop. 1 scoop in this little mason jar. See how that goes. It smells like Apple Jack cereal. We'll get that in there. We got that in the water. I got a spoon in my pocket. I'm gonna do that. Adam said, it was a chilly in Boulder? Not yet, still 80s. It was in the 80s during the day, But I went for a run on Wednesday, the day I left, and the only like clean clothes I had left at that point that I had packed / received for that trip was a tank top, and my hands were very cold. Yeah, so, but that I feel like that's Boulder no matter when I go. It's chilly in the morning, if not cold, and then just hot, summer hot during the day. All right, cheers. That's nice. It's like apple juice, but not as acidic as apple juice. Is it better than apple juice though? A little bit, because it's got some of that brown sugar flavor to it. You know, a little brown sugar, a little bit of cinnamon. I don't know that I would want this in a water bottle, like in a flask, you know. But after a run, I think this would be real nice, or just to hydrate with. I think that'll work. That'll work for me. All right. Sega Dreamcast says the mic gain sounds a little hot. All right, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Tommy says, dang, I should have been invited on here to chat with you about Elevation Camp. Tommy kept calling it Elevation Camp while we were out there because we're all getting ready for Berlin. There was a lot of people there that were getting ready for Berlin. I feel like half the trip I'll see next week again in Berlin. But it was good. It was good. So we were going out there, and they've got some new product that they wanted to just take a look at. Some existing product that they wanted to get us to test out as well. I think Salomon is going to be pushing, without breaking any embargoes, I think I could say that Salomon is going to be pushing heavy into the gravel concept for the future, for 2025. I think 2025 is going to be a big year for them, especially for the American market, where I feel like Salomon has for a long time catered to its existing customer base, which makes sense. But I always felt like they aren't making shoes for Western preferences. And I feel like they're really going to start doing that, both in the gravel sector and not in the gravel sector. So we got to learn a lot about that. And they showed us kind of like where they were coming from, where they were going. It was good. Some local Salomon pros were there as well. Noah Droddy, Maggie Montoya. So it was a lot of fun. Sega Dreamcast says he wants Apple all the things. You know, like there was a week, it was like, I think it was last weekend or maybe 2 weekends ago. There's a huge apple picking place near here. They also do pumpkins and stuff. But you go and it's kind of like a carnival. They have like a carnival on their grounds. So there's like there's a little bit of rides. There's a corn maze. There's an apple cannon. You pay extra, but you could put apples in an air cannon, and you could fire it at things, which is a lot of fun. But it's a very like autumnal thing to do. But that weekend, it's opening weekend, it was like 90 degrees here. It just feels like things are a little off. I'm ready for fall. I'm very much ready for fall, but the weather is not quite yet. All right. Kevin says pocket spoon. Yeah, I just got the spoon out of my pocket because I knew I would forget. So I just put it in my pocket. It does not taste like a sport drink. This is good. I just like it as a drink. I would also like a fermented version of this as well. Put a little booze in it. I feel like that'd actually be kind of nice. Normally, I don't feel like sport drinks have flavor profiles that could stand up to booze, but I feel like this one probably could. Put a little bourbon in there. Maybe. I don't know. All right, let me scroll down and catch up with you guys in the chat. Patrick Ozadita says, does Salomon or any other brands ever push back on your shoe reviews if you give your honest opinions? I imagine you get to the camp and someone's pulls you to the side like, so what's up? There was a a moment where I thought that might happen at this one because I was pretty harsh about the S Lab Spectre, this shoe, which I actually do really like. I just thought the pricing was way off, the marketing was not quite right. I felt like there were some really big misses with this shoe that didn't really have too much to do with the shoe. I mean, pricing of a shoe, it does have to do with the shoe, but it doesn't have anything to do with how it feels on your feet. And then I thought, I remember I had talked to one of the guys from Salomon at TR8. He'd given me a really long explanation of it. And then I used like all that information to be like, this is what Salomon said about this shoe. And like, I took like all those, I didn't like use I didn't videotape him saying it, but I basically took all his talking points and was like, this is why this shoe is weird. And I thought he was going to be like mean to me or like awkward around me, but he was nice. We had really good conversations about some of the upcoming product too. And then someone else told me that like that the original guy was kind of frustrated, not with me, but like because at TRE last year they were showing like Aeroglide 2 and like all this other stuff, which is interesting, but everyone at Salomon was really excited, not so much for some of the stuff in 2024, but they're really excited for 2025. And they already had that in like 2020, end of 2023. So it's like, it was good to see, like, I have my suspicions on how things go at some of the brands. It's good to kind of get a layer peeled back and talk to people. But I've never really had too many people give me pushback on a review. No, I don't think so. Even ones that I don't like. One, because I try never to be mean about it. Even if I really don't like a shoe. And I like to think that like, if I don't like a shoe, there are reasons that I feel like are defensible. And hopefully, and I usually feel like people, when there's that's why I usually don't ask for too many shoes. If a brand wants to send me the shoe, they'll let them send it to me. If they don't want to send it to me, I'm not going to ask them for a shoe and then be like, this shoe's not great. You know what I mean? So like, I usually just take it as a signal. Like they know it's not great. And so they don't want me to review it or they don't want negative press on it. So we kind of avoid those things. I don't like to make negative reviews. Sometimes people like to watch negative reviews, but I just don't like that energy. There's enough of that on the internet. And so I don't have too many shoe reviews where I'm like, what is this? What did they do? But yeah, but it is always good to get to talk to the people that are in charge of the product. Because then we can get on the same page, Patrick says, well, they did drop the price from 250 to 220 on the SF Spectre. And I feel like that was because of your feedback. It might have been, I was not the only one that thought the 250 price point was wrong. And so I don't think that was just me. It went away for a while. And then I was worried. I was like, oh man, did I end up killing a product? That doesn't feel good, But then it came back. I think it just like maybe the first run sold out and then they did bring it back at that 220, Chris Pratchett says, hey Mike, when are you planning on being at the Berlin Expo next week? No worries if you're not allowed to say. It's not that I'm not allowed to say, I'm not sure. So I'd prefer to go on Thursday. I get in Thursday morning pretty early. So like, it depends if I can check into my hotel early or not. If I can't, then I might try and just head over to the expo because I'd prefer to just get into town on Thursday and then go for a run real quick, like right when I land. But if I can't do that, I'm going to go to the expo right away. I'm also going with Sports Tours, and they have kind of like a group going to the expo kind of thing that they do. That I don't know that I want to necessarily go to that just because I like to do expos the way I like to do them. And some things I take longer at, some things I do shorter when it comes to expos. So I don't know if I'll want to go with the group. I think that's on Friday. So I don't know, but it'd probably be Thursday is what I'm thinking. What time? I don't know. It depends on how fast I get. from the airport through passport control and to the hotel and to find where the expo. I got to start figuring some of that stuff out. I have not done any of that yet. I was also thinking today that I should probably take a look at the course map and profile, because I've never done that and I haven't done that yet. So probably should. Frank says you have to get the decoder ring out for Co's negative reviews. I would hope so. I would like to think that, like, one, if it's a shoe that I don't like, I do want to make it clear that there's something wrong with the shoe so that people, don't buy it. But I also really feel like, of the shoes that come across my desk, there's not a lot of just outright bad shoes. Like, it's usually more the case of like, this really does not speak to me, but here's who the runner I think this is designed for. Like the Cumulus, for example. That's a shoe that, like, I don't think it's bad. I just don't like it. But that's my preferences. And that's why I've only reviewed the Ghost like twice of all the years that there have been Ghosts, because I just don't think it's not intended for me. And so I'm not going to be mad at it for being something that it doesn't want to be, But if like a Nova Blast came out and it sucked, then I'd be like, this is supposed to be for me. Not for me, but like for my kind of runner. Like, if it doesn't work, something's wrong. So that would be something where I'd be like, something messed up. But usually it's more the case of like, oh, this just isn't for me. Like the Wave Rebellion Flash 2 or the Neo Vista, more like that's more specific of a shoe that just doesn't work for me as well. Danny Guglielmo says, Co, how are you the only one not to get the 1080 version 14s? Yeah, so today our reel came out. Believe in the Run put it together, and they wanted to do some sort of thing for like the embargo lift day with a bunch of people. And so they organized it where they were helping get the product seated to a bunch of people. And they were like, yeah, we'll send you one. We'll send you the shirt. So the shirt that I was wearing in that video, they sent me the shirt. I unboxed that shirt here. Remember in the live stream? The black New Balance shirt. And so they were like, yeah, so when the shoe comes in, test it. And then if you could pretend to use it as a phone and say something you like about it, that was the prompt that they put together. Well, they were like, well, we're going to make a reel. And I was like, cool. And they're like, hey, can you have that? Are you almost done with that? Are you going to have that done by today? And I was like, I don't have the shoe yet. It hasn't come. Yeah, I still don't have it. And I gave it like that video that I shot. I did that before I went to Boulder. So, yeah. So that was a while. I still don't have it. I don't know. Like the shirt got here fine. So it's not an address problem. And I've lived here now for over 2 years. So like, and they've sent me product here. So like, that should be fine too. I just don't know where it is. Sometimes shoes just don't come to me for a long time. There's there's an apparel brand that reached out and they were like, hey, we want to like partner with you. And I'm like, that sounds cool. Can I try it first? Like send me a pair of shorts. They're like, awesome. And they keep following up and they're like, hey, we'd love to do like, to work with you on shorts, maybe like on an ad read or like YouTube integration. I'm like, love the idea. Still don't have the shorts. And it's been like 2 months. And so like, I don't know. So I get other packages at the P.O. box just fine, but yeah, I don't know. Stevie76 says the iPhone 16 is just an upper update. That's pretty funny. I like that. They did change up the cameras a little bit. There's only 2 lenses back there now, right? Not instead of 3, which I think is a fine consolidation. I do wish I could have waited to upgrade my phone. I just upgraded my phone to the 15 Pro Max because I think the 16, if I'm not wrong, the 16 Pro, not the Max version, but even just the regular sized Pro, you get the 5X telephoto, which is the reason I bought this iPhone. But so that made a difference, would have made a difference for me, but other than that, not really. Martha says, when is the 2025 Berlin registration? I have a good for age qualification time. I figure I better take advantage of that. Must be soon since the race is soon. I think it probably, I don't know. Doesn't it usually open up shortly after the event goes on? I'm not sure. And Alex says, we can go together. Yeah, let's go together, Alex. When do you get in on a Thursday morning for the expo? I think that'll be fun. I'll message you later. And Luke says, have you ever made a review and found out a company changed something directly because of your review? I don't know about that. I do feel like when Thomas went hard on the Brooks Hyperion Elite 4, and I do feel like they're listening to that. Brooks is like making a response to that video. The closest thing that I can say, and I don't even want to take personal credit because these are big companies. There's lots of market data and sales data that comes in that has a factor that's more than just like, what does a reviewer think? But I think the closest thing can be is that in Eugene, when we were there, I don't know if it made it into the Runners Weekend video. So this was Eugene 2022 World Championships. I got pulled to the side for a meeting with some execs at ASICS for like 40 minutes. And we just talked about Glide Ride 3 the entire time. Why do you like it? What does it give you that other ASICS shoes aren't giving you? We talked about that for forever. And then I was like, I knew it would be about Glide Ride 3 going in, but I didn't know it's because they were thinking about killing it after that. And so I was like, oh, well, hopefully I saved it because I really like the Glide Ride 3. I think that's how it happened. I'm pretty sure. But either way, I was like, I hope I said enough nice things about the Glide Ride 3 because I like the Glide Ride 3. And like at that time, there was Nimbus Light 2, Nimbus Light 3 maybe. So there was hints of change, but it wasn't the Nimbus like the 25. You know what I mean? And so like the Glide Ride was very special in the ASICS lineup. And so I think that was the closest where I've like made a big difference in terms of like what happened to a shoe. And so I don't know if I've saved the line. It wasn't single-handedly, but I definitely was involved in one of probably many conversations that ASICS had of why like the Glide Ride still needs to exist. And I'm a big fan of it now that it still continues to be here. Where is that shoe? Yeah, it's right over there. It's up here. Yeah. So I think that's probably the closest. And here's another one. Cosmo Michael says, do other people recognize you in the sports tours group? The one in London, I don't think I think maybe one person did, maybe one. The only other person that recognized me, it was someone that kind of worked with sports tours. So Yimi was the guy that did the course breakdown. He's run London like a half dozen times or something like that. And he like knows every corner. And he's run a bunch of majors as well. So like he understands like the sports tours person and he understands London. And so he was like, he recognized me. He knew who I was. And then maybe one other person in the group, but otherwise I was just like some weirdo with the selfie stick running in the group run. I think they maybe thought that I worked for sports tours and was filming it for promotional purposes or something, which I guess I kind of am, but yeah. So there's that. Sega Dreamcast says, I love how the Fast RB barely fits on the shelf. Looks like it wants to break free. It doesn't fit. See how tall it is? It does kind of have to get squished in there. Yeah. Jason Horner says, that Puma Fast RB looks hilarious back there. Like, stop laughing at me, y'all. I'm just trying to fit. I do. Yeah, that is cool. That's cool. All right. Eric says, box. Let's get to it. So you guys were right on what the shoe is. This is the Glycerin Max Fall 24 PR sample. But I have two of them in the same exact model because Brooks, I don't know who I'm in. The person that I used to be in contact with at Brooks is no longer there, as far as I know, through no fault of mine. I don't know why I have to specify that, but yeah. So I don't even know who's sending me the shoes anymore, because I would like them to send me a Hyperion Max 2 and also a Ghost Max 2. But I did get a Glycerin Max. But I've been doing some stuff with Fleet Feet lately, and Fleet Feet had separately. So this one just came from Brooks. I didn't ask for it, and we know it was coming. Fleet Feet sent me the pair that I ran in this morning, and I knew that was coming. So, yeah. Blunder says it looks chonky. It's a big shoe. It's a really big shoe. But they've also then like made it look bigger. So these sidewalls here come up really high. And you could see some of the color fade on here to see like where it's actually foam and where it's like just covering the upper. So like it looks bigger than it is, but it is definitely big. And Frank says yawn colorway. I actually love this colorway. I thought it looks really clean. It looked good on my feet. Like, you know, sometimes like the shoe might look good on the website. Sometimes the shoe looks good on a shelf. Sometimes the shoe looks good like when you're looking down at your own feet. For me, I feel like all three, I think it looks great. So I'm actually a big fan of this. And then actually, since I did get to run in it today, I was very impressed. I really liked it a lot. And I'm glad that they fit like that. Brooks figured out this whole like, let's have this separate max category of shoes that like, yes, they're bigger, but they're also like what I wish Brooks would have been doing for a long time. So like the drops are different. They're not 12 millimeter drops. They're not 10 millimeter drops, which I think in and of themselves aren't necessarily bad. But the way that Brooks does 12 millimeter drops or Brooks does a 10 millimeter drop, I don't love. I actually don't remember. I don't know the drop of this off the top of my head. Let's see if I can find it. I have a tech sheet here somewhere. Brooks. Glycerin Max. I do have it. That might be in my email somewhere. I don't have it readily accessible now. But it's a different kind of DNA. It's called DNA tuned. So it feels like a supercritical foam. It looks and kind of when you're squeezing it, it squeezes kind of like a Hyperion Max. But the way they've tuned it, it squishes a little bit more. So it's better for just easy paces. But it can kind of pick up the pace too. So, yeah. Tommy Run says, you definitely got that person fired. You know who I'm talking about. But I did not get that person fired at Brooks. I don't think. I didn't even say anything to anyone about that person. So I wouldn't. Tommy's gonna make me feel all guilty about it. So I don't know. I do think that I've gotten a PR person fired before, but I don't think it was just me. But this was when I was This was New York Marathon 2023. But that I feel like that was a weird. There was a whole bunch of stuff that happened. But it wasn't just me. But one week I was talking to a person, and the next week it was like that person's not working here anymore. So anyway, Calvin says, I find it so funny that I saw a leaked image of this shoe, the Glycerin Max, months ago, and the caption said, prototype only, these will not go on sale. I'm glad that these made it through, and I'm glad that they're like, because like Brooks has been very like, they've been playing it by the numbers. They know what sells. They only make what sells. They haven't been taking risks. These aren't wild risks, but these are risks. These are going to be very different than what like the Brooks customer is familiar with. I think that's a good thing because we've got like Brooks and like Brooks Max shoes, kind of like we had like Asics and the Asic Light shoes for a while. So I just feel like that's good. All right. Eliza says, how does it smell? It smells kind of like carpet. You know, like when you go to a convention hall for like a conference or like a wedding, you know, it kind of just feels like it's been just cleaned. Yeah, that's kind of what it smells like. It's not a bad smell. There's a decent amount of padding on this, but it didn't feel super crazy. But very much like when I ran in, just to give you my first thoughts on it, very much like when I ran in the Ghost Max, and I was like, this is what the Ghost should have been for a long time. This is great. Or this is what I've been wanting out of the Brooks Ghost for a long time. This is kind of the feeling that I've been wanting out of the Glycerin for a long time. So it's cool. It's good. I'm great. But Adam says though, I'm selling all the Max stuff. Keep it light. Let's see. Speaking of that, let's see how heavy it is. I think it's pretty light, especially for the, like, relatively speaking. I think it's light. Get my scale out here. Okay, it's powering up. I gotta take this thing off because that will affect the weight. All right, let's get the scales ready. We gotta get the spreadsheet ready. All right. It is, it's not light. I didn't think anyone thought it would be light, but it's not as heavy as I thought it would be. Well, it's not as heavy as I thought it would be. I think it's going to be not as heavy as you guys think it's going to be. Okay, the weight is 10.8 ounces, 300 and, wait, 8 grams? 8 grams. And 308 grams. So I feel like that's a pretty good number. Herm says, for all you bigger, taller runners, you're going to love it. I agree. I agree. But I also feel like bigger, taller guys probably like the Glycerin as well, the regular Glycerin. But this is like, there's just a lot more foam in here. And Luis wants to know if it's like the more V4. I will say, like, it reminds me of the more V4 in a very limited way, in the sense that, like, it has a very aggressive rocker. It's like they took the same geometry, almost the same geometry from the Hyperion Max, and put it into this. And so, you're standing on it, and it tips over really early. Same thing with more V4. So that's why I feel like they're similar, but the feeling underfoot is very different. It's kind of just like if they took the Hyperion Max and just softened it a little bit. And if it wasn't, maybe I'm trying to think of how they did it, and I don't know if it's like they're tinkering with the gas or the amount of gas in the supercritical process that does it, or if it comes down to like what's going on with this yellow part. So the yellow part, and like, I think I probably got to talk to someone from Brooks about it to see if I can understand it more. Because, like, I don't know if this is actually a different foam or not. It doesn't look like it, but maybe they're just painting it. But you can kind of see the yellow through here too. So I just don't know if it's an insert. There's two different supercritical foams here, so maybe it's more like a forever run kind of situation. But in either event, like, I didn't think that they could... I don't know if this is this just painted yellow, or is it yellow all the way through? Like, for the Forever Run, there's a blue layer, and that layer is not painted blue, it's blue. So I don't know if this yellow layer is actually a yellow layer, or if it's just painted, but I'd like to learn more about it. But it just feels like it's not quite as firm as just like the DNA Loft V3 is. I don't know that you can get this soft, not that it's super squishy, but it's softer. I don't know if you can get it just from the DNA Loft 3, so I'm interested in what the other layer is, you know. Those are some of my first thoughts without looking at a tech sheet, you know. Danny Gugliuzza says it's being compared to the Puma Mag Max. And which I know you guys are very patiently waiting for me to review the Mag Max, and I did bump the Mag Max for this one because there was an embargo date that was while I was in Boulder, and I felt bad for missing it, so I bumped it. But that'll be getting tested soon. Also, I just went on a Puma trip, so I try not to put the reviews too close to trips Put a little space there, you know. Martha says that Ed Bud says that the yellow is painted in his opinion. I think it's painted because my gut is like I don't think you can color these foams. But then I was like, wait, the Forever Run though is colored. It's blue. So I don't know. Maybe you can. So all right, let's see where it fits in on the sheet now. Here we go. I like to highlight it first, not text color. Here we go. So I know where it is when we do the data sort. Data sort sheet. Okay. A to Z. All right. The 10.8 makes it the same weight, same exact weight as the Under Armour. Is it Infinity Pro? I think it's Infinity Pro. No, it's Infinite. Infinite Pro, which I haven't still running yet. And it's lighter than a Hoka Skyward X. So look at that. Okay. Lighter than the Rabbit Dream Chaser. Okay, I did also run in the Under Armour Infinite Elite the other day. Also a shoe that was surprisingly good. That one felt heavy though. It's half an ounce heavier. But yeah, the Mag Max, it's going to be 0.2 ounces lighter though. So interesting. There we go with the weights. That's it. All right. Andrew Scott says, do they paint shoes? Yes. So especially like with Boost, those beaded TPU pellets you couldn't add color to them. I don't know the chemistry behind it, but you couldn't. So like anytime you saw a Boost midsole that was like black or gray, that was painted that color. So like that's just a layer of paint that can chip off and come off. I think the same thing goes with is the Zoom X the same way? Like the older Zoom X? No, they could color this, right? No, like if I like rip this old Turbo 2 open, it wouldn't be white on the inside, would it? Does anyone know? I don't think so. No, I don't think it would be black on the inside. I think it would be white on the inside, or that cream color. So like there's certain materials that they cannot color the source material. So they have to make the mold and then paint the shoe when it comes out. Like this shoe. This is definitely painted, right? This Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 1. So like, yeah. And then for some of the midsole foams that you can add color to the midsole foam, it does change the mechanics of it. At least when I talk to product people, they say that it changes it because you're adding a new thing to it. It's not pure EVA or whatever anymore. It's EVA and paint. So that affects that's why a lot of the midsoles are all the same color. One of the many reasons why, but yeah. I mean, you guys are in here talking about the Pontiac Aztec. That's a fun car. I've never been in one, but I always say you have to have a couple of Pontiac Aztecs before you can have, if you want to also have beautiful, innovative cars too. Unfortunately, there isn't like a ton of examples from Pontiac that I could say like you have to have a Pontiac Aztec to get to the new GTO. That wasn't like that great of a design, right? Super Engine says, I think that's the case with the Saucony's Power Run PB. They have to paint it. Yeah, I think so, right? Like this, that was on the Endorphin. This is what is this, a Pro 2 or Speed 2? This is the Pro. This is just painted this color because you cannot add color to these beads. Good call. And comment says any non-EVA, I'm fairly certain, are all not able to be dyed. PIBA, TPU, TPE. That's what I think too. I think it's only EVA. So does that mean that this is supercritical? This must be in the supercritical EVA in the yellow layer if it's yellow all the way through. But even looking at it, it's not like there's kind of like some lines in the foam here, but like it looks painted to me. So I don't know. I'll have to get that, try and find that spec sheet eventually. Melvin Yuming says, yo, what's going on, Co? What Chicago 26.2 pre or post race festivities will yield the greatest likelihood of getting to snap a selfie with you and chat, of course? That's going to be the Shakeout run Saturday morning with Asics and Fleet Feet. I don't even know where it starts or what the time is, but it's in the morning on Saturday, and there will be pancakes. No pizza this year, but short stacks. I've seen the shirts we're going to give away. You're going to want to come for the shirt. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really good one, guys. So that'll be the best place to find me. I'll also be at the expo. The time for that has changed. We were going to be Thursday at 3. We're now Thursday at 4. Me, Peter Bromka, Lindsay Hine. I think that's it. Is Tommy? I don't know if Tommy, are you coming? We're going to be there Thursday at the expo. You could probably catch us afterwards. You know, I'll stick around for a little bit. Jason Y says, just jumping on, sorry if it's been asked, when will companies start to announce pop-up locations and speakers/events for Chicago? It's usually like 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time is when that stuff happens, because and here's why I think it's that way. Most of them know already. I don't know because I'm disorganized. Someone else knows. The people who have arranged the space and the pancakes and the shirts, they all know. I just don't know. But it's more like you want to announce it and have people be able to sign up for it right away. And you also want to try to guarantee the highest likelihoods of signups and attendance. So like if we was like sign up like 6 months ahead of time, so many of those people might not even be in Chicago, 6 months later. But they're like, oh yeah, I definitely feel like going. And you sign up, you take a spot, it's free, but like that prevents other people from getting the spot. And then later on, then maybe we won't have as many people there as we wanted. So I think they try to do it like 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time just to keep that a little bit tighter. So that way you have a better sense of like, I just remember signing up for this, so I'm definitely going to remember to go kind of thing. I think that like, I would recommend signing up for newsletters from companies that you're interested in their pop-ups, because like getting on their email lists, because that's who they're going to notify first. And usually before they then hit that to socials, the email lists usually take up most of the RSVPs first. So that'd be my suggestion, is like sign up for like getting emails from Tracksmith and Bandit if you want to do stuff with them. Heartbreak if you're a little bit more local and want to do stuff with them. That's the kind of stuff that I would do. Get on those email lists now if you're not already. All right. Shaheen has a running shoe question. Says, at what mileage should I retire my Metaspeed Sky Plus? I have about 130 miles on them, and the outsole remains almost new, but it's not as bouncy as the new Puma Elite 3. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be up to you. Like I usually say like 125 to 150 is usually like lining up for another marathon at 125 is probably the last time I'd want to do that. After that, it'd be a pretty good race or like workout shoe, even if not something I'd want to race in, So, but if you've got them, you'll know. That's the most accurate answer, is like they just don't feel as exciting. Someone tried to do, I remember hearing a story about it, that there was a study that said like once the shoe compresses by a certain number of percent, and I don't remember how, like, I don't know if it was percent of height or what, but like they said, like there's some sort of observable metric that usually translates to the user will feel like it's not as special as it once was. So once you feel like you've started to lose the feeling, it might be time to pick another race shoe. Um, yeah, 130 miles. I might do another. You might be able to get another marathon out of them. You could get many more marathons out of them, really. But like in terms of like wanting to have like top racing product on your feet at the starting line, yeah, I might do one more. Cheryl Ross says, "Do we need to register for the Shakeout run?" At some point, I'll get a link, and that'll be emails. And there's limited space, so that's why there'll be like a sign up process. So yes. And Cosmic Final Michael says, "Get to a Kofuzi Shakeout early. The Boston one was overwhelmingly big. The Boston one is overwhelmingly big for many reasons. We do it with Rabbit, and they're great. I love to work with Rabbit, especially at Boston. But anytime I do an event with Rabbit, they also bring all their Rad Rabbits, and so like there's just it brings even more people to it, which is awesome because it makes for a nice big communal experience. And also, we usually have it right around because it's Sunday morning, so it's like everyone's doing their shakeout right around that time, and it's the last 2 years, it's been my shakeout is 30 minutes after the Believe in the Run shakeout is. And so people are already there for Believe in the Run. And theirs is usually next door with ASICs. Mine is one storefront over at Rabbit. They're adjacent in the same like row houses, you know? And so that's why it feels bigger than it actually is. Although that is one of the biggest events I do over the years. Ibrahim Gushin says, "What super trainer do you recommend?" Guys, someone asked me this the other day. I don't like the word super trainer. It doesn't tell me anything except that the shoe's expensive. So like, is the Deviate Nitro 3 a super trainer? Maybe. Is the Super Blast a super trainer? Maybe. Do I use them the same way? Absolutely not. And so that's why I don't do a end of the year. I don't do a top 5 super trainer category. I do daily trainer, session shoes or tempo shoes, race day shoes, max cushion. Those are my categories. I don't like the term super trainer. I think it's really ambiguous and doesn't tell me anything about what the shoe does. So, except that maybe it has a carbon fiber plate in it. So I can't answer that. But if you have a couple of shoes that you're trying to pick from, let me know. I can give you some thoughts. All right. Mika Kataya says, "I've managed to get a good 400 kilometers out of a pair of original Endorphin Pros, but all shoes last for a long time for me, and they took almost 150 kilometers to soften a bit in any case." I think that's a lot. That's a lot. So how many? So that's 120, 240 miles out of it. That's a good number. That's a good number. But the Endorphin Pro 1 was a very firm shoe. I could same with the Endorphin Pro 2. I don't think they were that different. I liked racing a half marathon in the Endorphin Pro, the early one and number 2. So yeah, I think I got 100 miles in each of those shoes. I don't know that they softened up for me. I think they just stayed very firm, very responsive for me. But that shoe will last a long time, longer than like ZoomX style of Piba midsole. Yeah, and Martha says, and then there's the Tracksmith one happening a few doors down in Boston. Yes, Tracksmith also has their event like right around the same time on Sunday because that's when everyone wants to do their shakeout run. Sunday, the day before Boston, Sunday, or right around between like 9 and 10 is when they want to start. And so like everyone's on the same street. And so like the Tracksmith one, I think is probably the biggest one. And they've got like several thousand, I would say. Believe in the Run is bigger than mine by probably by a few hundred, and then the Rabbit one is also really really big. It's to the point where I'm surprised that like we haven't gotten shut down by the city somehow, you know. But it's a fun time. Everyone gets to put in some miles. I get to meet a lot of people. As far as I know, no one's gotten hurt or lost. So like those are my main goals. Adam says I should weigh the shoe I ran in for comparison. I left it upstairs. Maybe I'll go get it. I'll take a picture of it and we can add it next week. But next week, before I forget, next week we'll only have Monday because I will be leaving Wednesday to go to Berlin. So we'll only have a live stream on Monday for next week. And Sega Dreamcast says, do you feel that you already have your top 5 for the year in each category? For most of them, I think so. But there's still a lot of shoes that I haven't tested because I'm behind on stuff. And I'm just like, do we really put... Like, when did the 1080 come out? The 1080 14's coming out. I feel like it's so soon. So I have to go back and look at like what year does that fit into? I don't even remember. But most of the shoes for the year have come out. Adidas tends to release some shoes late in the year. They usually have like the Adios usually comes out in like November, I feel like. Not that I think that'll be cracking top 5 in any of my categories, but there's just some I don't think that they're all like laid out in stone, but I have a pretty good sense of what they'll be. I'm not sure what the shoe of the year is going to be yet. I've narrowed it down, but there's still some shoes I haven't tried yet. So KSNT 606 says CLX1 or OG Prime, which one are you taking for a Marathon Co? If I had a fresh pair of like the original Prime X, not the Prime X Strung, but the original 10 millimeter drop, like that super flimsy upper, that I would take that one. That one is just so much fun. And I ran in the Prime X Strung, the version 1 Strung, when I ran Boston, which was also fun. But I feel like the original Prime X would have been more fun. I do like the CLO X1 a lot, and I feel like it's highly underrated. It's just a lot of fun. That one is a good one. Luke says, I use a pair of Vaporfly 2s for double thresholds, and they have 430 miles on them, but they still feel great. That's pretty incredible. But I feel like, Luke, you are also a very efficient... It looks like you have a very efficient stride. So that might help extend the longevity of your shoes. Yeah, the Vaporfly 2s... I could see it. That's still impressive, though. 430 miles? Whew. Adam says, Keeley versus Femke in a 600. I feel like in a 600, I'd go for Keeley. I feel like, yeah, I just think I think that I would take that. Femke's really fast, but she's 400 meter fast. I think it takes there's just a whole nother level of strength it takes to get to run 800. And I don't think 600 is in the middle of it. You know, I feel like a 500 would be more of a better contest. Like I thought a 150 would have been a better contest for Mondo and Karsten. But yeah, I don't think we'll see. They're different. They're sponsored by different brands, so I don't think we're going to see Keeley Hodgkinson versus Femke Bol. That would be pretty dope. I would like to see like the next big like novelty race like that. I really would like to see it be the women get a shot at it. You know, we've seen 2 dudes race. Now let's get some women involved as well. You know, so that would be good. I think I would tune in for that. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Arthur Freitas says, "Hey, Ko, which shoe would you recommend for track workouts? I'm kind of split between the Cielo Road and the Topo Cyclone 2. For between those two, I would pick the Topo Cyclone 2 pretty much every time. I did not like the Cielo Road. I felt like it didn't feel fast enough for how low it was to the ground. And for how low it was, and like it just wasn't, I felt like for a shoe that looks like that and is supposed to be marketed as like the 1 mile to 5K racing shoe for the roads, I felt like it needed to be much more aggressive. And it felt like I was running and it kind of felt like I needed more oomph there, you know? Yeah. I wanted it to be more like the SC Pacer version 1. And it was, and maybe that's me putting my, too many of my thoughts into it before I got to try the shoe, and I was judging it against a set of standards that it wasn't what it was trying to live up to. But I feel like when you're trying to race fast on the roads, like very, very short distances on the roads like that, it's got to be aggressive. And it didn't feel aggressive to me. Topo Cyclone 2 also is not the most aggressive. But I enjoy the feel of the Peebacks underfoot in that shoe more than I enjoy the feeling of the Cielo Road. Luke would take Keeley in a 600. See, I agree. And AJ says, I don't know, where is it? Richard Wilson says, I don't know, Olympics aside, Femke closes really hard. She does close hard, and it's pretty impressive. I mean, it'd be a good race. It'd be a good race to watch. Yeah. And Adam says, what happens if you throw Sydney into the mix? Yeah. That'd be pretty fun. Then it's still just 2 brands. I think like, yeah. Because then it's two New Balances. New Balance, Nike. Yeah. Matthias Fenta says, did anyone talk about Jakob walking in the middle of the half and still having a decent time? I don't know. Maybe that's the new way we're gonna. I don't know. Like, is that just? It was a 63, right? I feel like that's a really fast half, especially since he had won Diamond League like 3 days ago. Yeah, was it on a Thursday or Friday that he won? So he's had a lot of at the end of a season too. So he's been running a lot. I didn't hear about the fact that he walked until like later in the day. Like I had seen all the results and all like the finish line, like him like laying down on the ground stuff. I saw all that instantly. But then the stuff where he was like that he walked at some point, I thought that was pretty awesome. Very relatable, you know. And C-Town Fan says, would you ever use track spikes? I own a couple pair of track spikes. I use them for when I did the steeplechase. And I will spike up every now and again, very rarely. But at this point, I'm in spikes so infrequently. And I think if I raced another steeple, I don't know that I would wear spikes. I probably would. But it just feels like it's too long for me and my body to be in spikes. They're just so hard to run in. I mean, they're not hard to run in. It's just hard on the body to run in them. I would worry that like it would just mess up my ankles and Achilles in the middle of a training block. So I don't even know that I would spike up. I'm not ever running anything faster than like 37, 36 second, 200 meters anyway. Do you really need spikes for that? I don't think so. So I have them. But yeah, I don't ever ask for brands to send me spikes. I'm not interested in testing spikes. They're fun, but yeah. And Sean Devon says, Kafuzi, we were reviewing the Spectre 2. That's the next shoe in the lineup. I have the script mostly written out. I'm trying to get it out tomorrow, but it might be Saturday. My in-laws are coming in town for a couple of days. My daughter's got a track meet. Guys, can I tell you something? And we'll end with this. My daughter has been winning track meets. It's blowing my mind. And I can't believe it when I see it. But like, she's like winning. Not just first on the team. She's like winning the meets. And I'm like incredibly proud of it. And I don't want to brag about it too much. Because I'm not posting it on social media or anything, but I feel like this is a very intimate group here. I just wanted to tell everybody how proud I am of how she's running. And even at some of the bigger meets that she went to where I'm like, oh, now this is going to take her down a peg, she's still like sticking her nose in it. And she's running with some fast girls. And it's pretty cool. I'm just really proud of her. So, yeah. Calvin says, proud Asian dad moment. And Sean says, brag away, we're here for it. Luke says, that's worth bragging about. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, Mark says, for cross country, yeah, she at 7th grade, they run 2 miles. And her time is like, I don't know if she's had her PR since, but the last meet that I was at, she ran a 13:47 on a hilly 2-mile course. And I was like, holy crap. She's running. She's really running fast. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, that I'm really proud of her. And I've been, when she was not coming in first, I was really excited to go and see her, to having a good time. And it's surreal for me to see her running well, and she's enjoying it. I'm not pushing her, and I'm, but yeah, it's been really good. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. So I'm just sharing a proud dad moment. All right, guys. That's going to be it for today. I'll see you guys again on Monday. For everyone in the taper for Berlin, just relax. The thing is in the place, so we're good. And for everyone still getting ready for Chicago or New York, have fun on your long runs this weekend and be safe. All right, see you guys on Monday.